So if you're being asked to complete the square on a problem like this, the first thing I would do is separate this out so you're looking at this part of the problem separate from everything else. So I'm going to keep everything else the same way, but what am I going to do if I see 3x squared and 6x like that? I'm going to pull out a 3. Okay. And I'm going to write it like this because what we're looking for is now I'm ignoring everything else except for what's inside these parentheses. Just for a moment, I want to make this a perfect square because I pulled out the 3. So 3 times x squared would be 3x squared. 3 times 2x would be 6x. So I factored out the 3. And now I'm trying to make this stuff in here, I'm trying to make it a perfect square trinomial. So what number would I technically have to add to that to make it a perfect square trinomial? Perfect square trinomial means I want to write it as something squared. The way to get it is to look at that middle number. So I'm going to take half of that middle number, and I'm going to add it here. Just half of it, it's always half of that middle number. Now I can write this as a perfect square. Everything else is going to stay exactly like it was. So the 3 is still here, the minus 1 is still here. But how can I write this, what's inside these parentheses, as a perfect square? X plus 1. When I square that, remember, I'll just write off on the side, it means x plus 1 times x plus 1. And if I use FOIL, I get x squared plus 2x plus 1. That's why I did that. Except for now I've changed this value that's written in black at the beginning. So remember when I added 1 over here, what am I really adding to this side? Well, I'm adding a 1 inside these parentheses, but remember that 3 I pulled out? I'm really adding 3. So I have to subtract 3 from that whole side to compensate for it, because what's 3 minus 3? 0. So really I'm not adding anything as long as I, plus 3, minus 3. And now I can go ahead and combine the like terms. Yes, it is. And I can tell what the vertex is of that parabola. What's the vertex? Good, -1, -4. Perfect.